Hi, reception. Welcome to today's topic lesson. Now, this week you have heard two stories, and there's something that's the same about those stories. It's about where they take place. Now, can you remember where the two stories happen? That's right, they take place in China. You've learnt about the Chinese New Year story and also the runaway wok. Now, today's topic lesson is a chance for me to share some facts with you about China. Now, China is a country that's very different from ours. Some things are also quite similar. So, we're going to be a bit like detectives. We're going to be learning new things about China and trying to spot the things that are different and the things that are the same. So, we're going to be comparing two places, okay? And before we start, I've got a question for you. Do you know what this is a picture of? That's right. It's a picture of our world. We live on planet Earth. Now, planet Earth is actually a ball shape, isn't it? It's a sphere. So this is a picture of what it would look like if we opened it up and we flattened it down. And we call this a world map. I bet you've heard that word before. Now, on my map, I can see lots of different countries, different places on our world. And the countries are all different colours. Can you see them? And around all those different coloured countries is a lot of blue. What do you think the blue could be? That's right. It's all the oceans, it's the sea that surrounds all the different countries. Now, somewhere on that world map is where we live. We live in England. Do you know whereabouts England is? It's inside that circle. Can you see it? Oh, it's very small, isn't it? We live in England, which is part of the United Kingdom. And that's where we are right now. I'm going to show you where China is. What do you notice about China? That's right. It's much bigger than where we live, isn't it? China is a country too, but it's a much bigger country. And all inside that circle, all that orangey part, that's China. And we're going to learn some information about China now. Oh, on my first slide, I've got a picture of the Chinese flag. Now, every country in the world has its own flag. We have one in England, other parts of the world have them too, and this is what China's looks like. Can you point to it? There it is. It's red with some yellow stars on. Oh, can you count the stars? How many does it have? That's right, there are 5 stars on the flag. Now, in China, they speak a language called Mandarin. What language do we speak here in England? You're right. There are lots of different languages being spoken in England because we have lots of families that come from different parts of the world. So in England, we speak lots of different languages, but one of the main ones that people speak is English. So that's something that's a bit different, isn't it? We speak a different language. So we have a different flag and we speak a different language to the people in China. And underneath the flag, there is some Chinese writing. Oh, does it look like the writing we do? Do they use the same letters? No, it looks very different indeed. So that's something else that's different, the way they write and how it looks. Oh, my favourite type of slide, one with pictures of food on. It's making my tummy rumble, actually. Now, here we have some pictures of some Chinese food. Can you see any food that you might have tried? Yeah, I can see some I've tried too because Chinese food is actually enjoyed all over the world. And I know in my house, we love to eat Chinese dishes for dinner sometimes, especially ones with lots of noodles like in that top one. Now, as I said, Chinese food is enjoyed all over the world. And here's just a few pictures of some of the food they might cook. And lots of dishes will have rice in. Rice is a very important food in China, and most people eat it every day. Is there anything that you eat every day? Do you like to eat rice? So some of you eat lots of rice as well. So that could be something that's the same or something that's different. It would depend on you and your family, wouldn't it? Oh, does anybody know what that big pan is called the lady's holding? That's right, it's a wok. And we learnt about a wok, didn't we? We read our story this week. That is massive, actually. Goodness me, it's much bigger than the saucepans I have in my cupboard or my frying pans. Now, lots of Chinese food is made in wok. They are really large pans and they're not just used for frying things, they do all kinds of dishes in it. So they might fry food, boil food, steam food, and even roast food inside a wok. And also, if you look at the next picture, you can see people are enjoying some food that's just been cooked. Do you notice something? What's different about what's in their hand? What are they eating with? Do you know what they're called, reception? That's right, they're called chopsticks. So in China, people will feed themselves using chopsticks. Now, I don't know if you've tried to use chopsticks, but it is quite tricky and does take a bit of practice. When I'm at home, I tend to use a knife and fork or a spoon. So I don't tend to use chopsticks. But in China, people will use them. Even children, young children, will use chopsticks instead. So that's something that's quite different, isn't it? Oh, I spot an animal that I really like. Reception, can you name any of the animals on this slide? I heard lots of you say pandas. Here's some pictures of animals that come from China. Now I wonder, do we have animals like this living in the wild in England? So if you went for a walk around a park or a woodland, would you see animals like this, do you think? No. I can see a panda. Now, pandas are very famous from being from China because it's the only place in the world where they live in the wild. I can see some types of monkeys. These are called golden snub-nosed monkeys. I can see a leopard, and leopards do live in other parts of the world too, but this is a Chinese leopard. And also, that little animal in the bottom in the snow is called a sable. So, those animals are animals that live in the wild in China. Are those the same or different to us, do you think? I think that's a difference, isn't it? Because we don't have animals like that living in the wild. We might see them if we went to a zoo, but they wouldn't be living in the wild. And here are a few more examples. Gosh, look, they've got a really big range of animals, haven't they? I can see an alligator there, a wild cat called a Pallas cat, and that animal underneath is called a pangolin. Gosh, haven't seen any of those roaming around Brookvale Park, that's for sure. Let's see what the information says. It says there are lots of different parts to China because it's such a big country. So that means they have some parts which are very hot, some parts which are very cold. They have parts with lots of trees. They have sort of jungle areas that are very hot and wet with lots of trees, as well as tall mountains with lots of snow. And because of that, they have lots of different types of animals living there because lots of different animals like those different areas. And that's why you can find such a big range. Gosh, is it like that in England? Do we have different areas? Hmm. Probably not quite as extreme. We do have mountains in our country, but they're not quite as tall and snowy as the ones in China, that's for sure. And we don't have jungles, do we? So that might be something that's different. Oh, reception. What do you think this is a picture of? That's right, some children learning at school. And here we've got two different types of schools. Now, it says underneath that children start school when they are 6 or 7. Oh, how old were you when you started school? That's right. You were 4 or 5. So that's something that's different, isn't it? Now, some schools in China are very new and have lots of money to buy things for the children, whereas some of them are quite old and they haven't got a lot of money. Can you tell which is which from the photos? That's right. So some schools are going to have lots of children in it and lots of fancy equipment like iPads and computers, and some will be quite small with small groups of children which don't have lots of really fancy computers, but they will have things they can use like paper and pencil. But all the children are learning just in a different way. So there are rich parts of China and poorer parts. But what do they learn about at school? Have a look at the pictures. What can you see that they're doing? That's right, much like us. They are reading stories, doing maths. I can see someone writing. I can even see people learning about the world in the bottom. Can you see the globe? Perhaps they're learning about England. Wouldn't that be fun? They're even doing some sort of exercise. Let's read the information. It says lessons start at 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, that's a bit earlier than us. That's the difference. And end at 3 or 4. They have to do lots of studying at home too. So children work really, really hard like we do. They do lots of exercise and start the day with a warm up. So every day they will do some exercise all together as a whole school. We don't do that here, do we? No, we do a little bit of exercise in our classroom, like our wake up shake ups. So maybe that's something that's a little bit different, but also a little bit the same. Some learn kung fu at school. Do we learn kung fu? Not at school. Some people might go to a special class to do it, but we don't at our school, do we? What else can you see is happening at the school? That's right. I can see people playing drums, so it looks like they're doing some music, maybe some dance work. I can see people playing football, so they're doing some sports. And I can see a picture of some food. Do our school dinners look like that? No, we eat different foods, don't we? So that's something that could be a difference. But I think we do dancing and singing and we do sports, so that's something that's the same. Gosh, we've learned a lot about China so far, haven't we, reception? I wonder if you can keep some of these facts in your brain and then come and join me for the next video because we're going to use some of this information to create something together. Would that be okay? Now, helpers, there's also a link to another video that follows a little boy at his school in China. If you want to watch that for any extra information, there's a link there. And there's also a link on the overview that you've been emailed out. Okay, reception. Don't worry if you can't remember all these facts because I did go through it very, very quickly. I'm going to send this PowerPoint home so you can look back at it again. And remember, we're thinking about the things that are the same, different between China and where we live in England. Okay, you take care. I'll see you very shortly. Come and join me. Bye.